This one here, we need to apply, we're differentiating an exponential function plus the product inside the exponent. So differentiating the exponential function is going to be ln 2 e to the xy. So the derivative of exponent is itself. We need to adjust for the non-base e exponent. However, there's a product inside the exponent. So derivative of x is 1 times y plus x times the derivative of y is y prime. Okay, and then on the other side of the equation we get 1 plus y prime. Again, we can group together our y primes. So here I'm going to end up with y prime. Okay, that's going to be x log 2. Actually, I'm going to write the log 2 on the front. Log 2 x times 2xy. Okay, so that's going to be that expression when I multiply with the brackets here. Maybe I'll just highlight that factor here. When I multiply that, I'm going to end up with that factor. And when I move the y prime over to the other side and factor, I'm going to be left with the -1 factor, -1. Okay, so that comes from there. That -1 comes from that. The other remaining terms, okay, is going to be this factor and that, so it's going to be equal to 1 minus all that times y. So it's going to be log 2 y times 2xy. Okay, so when I multiply that onto there, that's what I'm going to end up with. Rearranging, and I've rearranged it. Now I'm going to divide and solve for y prime. So y prime equals 1 minus log 2 times y times 2xy all over log 2 times x times 2xy minus 1. Okay. This one here, again, this is a little bit more complicated. The y's are all embedded, but again, we just differentiate the outside. We need to apply the chain rule. So we're going to differentiate the squared. Okay, and then we're going to differentiate the y to y prime. Here we differentiate cos. Okay, I'm just going to move this down a little bit so it doesn't get in the way there of that. Okay, we need to, once we differentiate the outside, differentiate the inside, which is a product. 1 times y plus x times y prime. Okay, and then again we want to group together the y primes. All is one y prime factor. I'm going to have multiply onto that and put it to the other side as well. So I'm going to do this in steps. I have a bit more room here, so I'm going to keep that all the same. Okay, when I multiply out those brackets, I'm going to end up with negative sine xy, x times y prime. So I'm going to get positive x sine xy on this side times y prime. And the only term that's left here is going to be negative y sine xy. Okay, factor out that y prime and divide. So I'm going to end up with y sine xy, and then what's left over when I factor all that out, oops, I forgot to put some brackets in here, right? Those brackets go together. When I factor that out, I'm going to be left with 2y cos y squared. That's one factor, plus x sine xy. Okay, so there it is.